What do you see down there below you?
We drifted down from pretty high. And there's a field and a team of people. Seems like probably work with.
So you see a team of people that you think you work with?
They seem to know what they're doing there.
And tell me a little bit about yourself. Does it feel like you have a body?
Yeah.
Can you see your feet?
Yeah.
Does it look like you're wearing anything on your feet?
Boots.
Boots. Do you feel like you're a male or female?
Male.
Young or old?
Younger, I guess. Not terribly old.
Do you feel healthy?
Yeah.
And you're with these other people? Or are they off in the distance?
No.
Tell me about them.
No, we're all dressed similarly, and we're all wearing these, like, hard hat, helmet kind of things. So it seems like we came as a group. Maybe we're there as a team to do something.
Do you have something on your head to protect it?
Maybe, yeah.
You're wearing uniforms that relate to your job, or?
Right, but I can't discern exactly what that is, because it's not like a construction site. We're all just kind of congregated out in this field.
It's a field. Is there anything else that you can see around you?
In the distance, on every side, everywhere I turn, in the distance, there's some kind of hill or mountain.
Mm-hmm.
All the way around me.
So you're in kind of a depression or a plain?
Yeah. Like a valley almost. Just like a field in a valley.
And you said it feels like you've come from somewhere else to this place?
Right. Well, it feels like I dropped down, I floated down from the cloud to here, but everybody's here. They didn't float down with me.
Does it feel like you live a long way away from there? Or are you
Yeah.
close?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we had to travel to this place.
Now that you're at that place, can you show me where you sleep at night? Where you would stay?
I don't think we stay here.
Just visiting?
Well, it's like we're here to do something. There's some work we're supposed to be doing. Because we can just leave the spot and come back at any time. It's like there's something we're supposed to be accomplishing in this place.
Does it feel like you've been doing this work for a very long time?
I mean, yeah, it feels, it seems like we're all confident.
Does it feel like important work, or?
Yeah.
What's the nature of this place that you're at?
I don't know. It seems empty. Seems like maybe we're scouting land or surveying because we're going to build something.
What does your body look like?
Taller, thin.
Are you carrying anything?
Just what's on me, clothes.
Any instruments, or?
None that I recognize.
Do you join these other people as you come down?
Yeah. They're all discussing things, pointing to locations. They're talking about what we're going to be doing. We're going to be constructing something. It's some kind of machine or device.
Are you the ones that plan the machine, or what do you guys do?
Yeah, I suppose we plan it, install it.
Are you the ones that build it also? Is that what you mean by install? Or?
Yes.
Okay. And so this is something that you've all studied?
What I could only assume as some kind of communication.
Communication. Do you know where you're communicating with? Is it long distance or short distance?
It's long distance. Judging from the location, there's nothing else around for a long way, so the only place to broadcast to was up.
Do you go to more than one location?
No, we seem pretty focused on this exact spot.
What's important about this spot?
I don't know. It's the conditionality of building some kind of communication device, depending on where that has to be pointed. If you're pointing to a fixed location in space, there's only so many places on the actual globe where that could be positioned.
And so that's what you're trying to do, is broadcast to a fixed location in space?
I believe so.
What's at that fixed location?
Well,
Are you trying to find out, or?
yeah.
Is this part of a larger research team, or?
Yes. We feel like there's something in this direction that we should be listening for. And there's other noises in space, these, just kind of a ticking sound that the universe makes. We zero in on these pulses and see what they are.
So you're listening. Do you broadcast something back?
Yes.
What do you broadcast back?
It's like sonar. So if you get your own broadcast back, then it's just it's just hitting something and reflecting. But if you get your broadcast back and you get a ping, that means that there's something there. That there's something else broadcasting.
Do you often get pings back?
We don't know.
No. Does somebody know, or?
The device isn't built yet.
Okay. You're not sure what the importance of this particular spot is, other than it's a good spot in order to broadcast to the location in space that you're wanting to.
Right, and that the people that are here have been chosen for this project.
Is this a particular planet, or on a planet that you're familiar with?
It's not a planet that I'm familiar with.
Does this happen on multiple planets, or just that one?
I mean, we're assuming multiple planets.
Do you travel? Or are you stationary on one planet?
I don't know. I've always felt like I've been to other planets.
In that lifetime?
Possibly, yes.
So you said you came down, but you weren't with the others. Were you joining them?
Yeah. It was almost just as if I was falling from the sky, but it was very controlled. When I got to the ground, my feet just touched the ground and started walking forward. No impact. Just kind of like an elevator.
Do you assume that that's how they've all come down to the planet's surface as well?
I suppose so, because they were already there.
Do you have any transportation devices when you get down to the surface?
No, there are vehicles.
Okay. Are there buildings?
No, not really. Nothing. There aren't houses or anything. There's, temporary buildings just for this project. And there are vehicles that appear to be some kind of company.
Do you know if anybody else lives on this planet?
No.
It's just uninhabited.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, the planet has to be.
It's populated.
Right, it must be populated.
Just not anywhere near where you are.
Right, we're just in an isolated and remote area.
How long have you been there?
I don't know, it can't be long because it seems like our project is just getting started.
How long will you stay, do you think?
Well, either until the project is complete, or at least they find what they're looking for.
Wouldn't they have to complete the project before they find what they're looking for? Or are they looking for more than just...
Well, I mean, once the device is built, it still has to be operated, so...
Oh, okay.
You know, like, once, you know... I don't know if the same team operates it, or if we just build it and go on to another thing.
What do you think?
I'm hoping based on expertise that we would stay there. I mean, clearly we were all selected for this for a reason. I'll have some kind of expertise that...
What's your expertise in?
I don't know, outward communication, most likely.
Outward communication. Other people have different skills.
Well, right. Some people are programmers. Some people are good with the nuts and bolts of it all, the metal work, the welding. Some of us can hear these patterns and decipher them, or tell which direction a sound is coming from, or determine the source of that distant radiation.
And what does your skill set involve?
Well, it's the analyzing.
Where the sounds are coming from.
Right, these patterns. Analyzing where the sounds are coming from and what types of sounds, and trying to recognize any kind of pattern that might be communicative, language, repeating patterns, data, packet data.
Have you found other species?
No, but we have found other signals.
So at this point you have reason to believe that there are other species, you just haven't communicated with any as your species?
Right.
All right. Let's go ahead and drift away from that day, drifting and floating forward to another important day in the lifetime of that person. We've now moved forward to an important day when something is happening. What's happening? What do you see?
The sky is different for some reason.
What's different about it?
It's not usual. Like, instead of it being just a normal blue sky like we're all used to, it's got this weird greenish, almost aqua ring all the way around, and you can see, it's the middle of the day, the sun's out, but you can see all of the stars in the sky. There's just no blackness to the space.
You can see all of the stars?
Yeah, all the stars are lit, but it's, broad daylight out.
Do you see the sun also?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Oh man, we must have figured something out. I figured some pattern, or found some vibration, some frequency. And when you match the frequencies, things change.
But this was unexpected?
Right. We didn't know that that would happen.
What makes you think that it's in relationship to your work?
Because we were experimenting with broadcasting different radio frequencies into open space.
Mm-hmm.
Blasting unusual frequencies that normally don't carry.
So this corresponded with the timing of this particular experiment?
Right. And so something about the vibration of those frequencies must have opened a window or changed something, or just could have changed, shaken up the magnetic field of the planet, or could have changed the dimension.
Do you think that's what happened?
Maybe.
What happens? Describe what keeps happening during that experience.
We're observing the incoming vibrations, and they're matching, and then we keep slowly turning up the power, and it keeps matching vibration back. It's every time we go up, it goes up again, it matches, and it's coming from everywhere. It's no longer coming from a single source. It's coming from everywhere.
Do you reach an upward limit?
Oh no.
What happens as you keep ascending frequencies?
It keeps matching. Things keep changing. They don't go back to the way they were. The colors get brighter. Everything gets more saturated.
Do you feel things differently?
I feel like maybe we understand, even though we don't really know what we're experiencing. We feel like we understand. We understand the signal coming in. We can't decipher it, but it's showing us something. It's like we're looking, almost like when you look through in a big aquarium or a big open window, and you're just looking in wonder. But maybe the vibrations that we're transmitting are, in a way they're pulling a curtain open to show something else.
Can you describe what it is that they're showing you?
I think maybe it's a different place. It's a different world, maybe, with a different makeup, but it's right here. It's where we're standing. It's all around us, and it's always there. And there's these little keys, to getting into each different zone, I guess.
So it's all about the frequency?
Right.
How long does that last? Or
as long as we do it. We don't know. We keep exploring, one frequency at a time, and we keep branching out and trying to find more of these windows. And maybe if the more we find, maybe there's a way that we could find to just freely travel between all of them.
is this an experience that just the researchers are having, or is it a planetary experience?
This is an experience just the researchers are having, because all of this was based on a theory.
So is it localized to where they're
Right.
where they're at.
Right. It's localized to this one area. Because again, nobody's ever tried this before. This is all based on entirely on a theory that's like, if we would just knock on the sky, there would be something there.
That seems to be proving fruitful.
Yeah.
So let's go forward, drift away from that time and go forward to another important day, or something's happening. We've now moved forward to another important day. What is happening?
Now there's more people.
More than just the research team?
Yeah.
Where did they come from?
Everywhere.
To share the experience?
To share the experience. To see, we can't explain what we found, not with any real scientific evidence, other than the fact that we just know that it's there and you can see it.
How do people find out about it?
Just, word of mouth. As a team, we made a report on the findings, which were initially dismissed because there was just nothing concrete that actually happened. But as the information got out, people became more and more curious. And so we're continuing to work on this way to keep these frequencies open, to keep them running, so that they keep reflecting.
How long has it been? How long have you been working with these frequencies?
Seems like some time, maybe a year, maybe more. Not terribly long.
Long enough to get an idea.
Right. It's like maybe a year or more has passed since we built the machine, and started using it.
Does anybody else use that technique, or just this one location?
Now, after the initial report was made, other teams have been apparently using this technique. We're not sure of any of their results.
So you don't really communicate between the different teams?
Nah, it's just still new at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's made any more of a groundbreaking discovery than our team did.
So what else is happening on this day?
People are trying to grasp, I guess, the levity of what they're seeing. And that's just that everywhere, not just here. Yeah, it's not just this planet. It's like when you're looking, when these windows are open, it's almost like a dome that comes down around you, around this whole area. But when you're in these windows and they're open, it's like the entire universe, not just the planet you're standing on, but the entire universe around you is different.
Do you experience different thoughts or emotions when you're in that frequency?
I'm not sure.
What does it feel like?
Sometimes it feels like bliss. Sometimes it feels like, there's maybe a place we were supposed to be and just got lost along the way.
So an ideal? Like a nirvana?
Maybe. We have to keep pushing further and find better ways to stay in these states, more permanently.
Is there a limitation to how long you can stay in the States now?
No, as long as there's power, to these broadcast machines that we built. And there are other machines, but, also these windows are localized where the machines are, so it's not like we're able to take this with us anywhere.
Right. So expanding the technology to be less dependent on its environment.
Right.
And what else are you trying to experiment with or learn about?
We want to get to that place and stay. I want to open those windows and just have them open.
How come? What would be the benefit?
I don't know. Education, mostly. To see what's beyond, or what's to the other side, or just to learn, to breathe, to feel, to know that we're a part of something that's bigger than what's just been presented to us.
And that's what that feels like, your research.
Right.
You said that some of the states are like the nirvana or the bliss states. Are there different states depending on the vibration?
Right.
Can you describe some?
The lower vibrational states we found reacted differently, and the colors of everything were lower in, more wideband frequencies produced areas that were more red, yellow. Higher frequencies produced light, just like real life looks. Everything's just green and blue.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start pushing those frequencies higher and higher, colors start changing to the other end, but then things become fluorescent, things glow and shimmer, and things just start to appear different. The leaves on trees, grass, even just the sky itself.
You said you could see the stars in the daylight, like there was no interference.
Right, as if the night sky, as if you were looking at the night sky,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't black.
Mm-hmm.
Like as if you were looking at the night sky and just a beautiful, like, azure as far as you could see into infinity. Of just pinks and light greens and blues.
So originally you were talking about traveling to this place, but you're also describing this as being this reality, just a different
Right.
version of it.
Right. And there was something about this exact spot that was determined, it was determined that we had to build our device right there in this area, just because the conditions were right.
What was the condition that made it?
I don't know.
Something underground, or something around the landscape around it, or
Maybe it's the landscape. Maybe it's ionic activity in the air.
ions?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't my job.
What created the depression that you were in? Is it a plain or a crater?
It's just a plain. It's just a valley.
How far did that bubble extend that you were able to create?
Miles.
Did it go all the way to the mountains?
Yeah. It looked like it all the way. A large area. Probably 10 square miles or more. Enough that there were people there and you could walk and you wouldn't hit a wall.
Yeah. Was there an edge? Is there a discernible boundary?
I never found it.
Yeah. But you could tell it only extended so far.
Right, because as you were looking up, you could see where the energy would bend and come back down.
And so people are coming from miles around or the whole planet to see this? Or
Right.
And then other teams are trying to build other ones in other locations on the same planet?
Right, to see it demonstrate, because the devices can't continually operate.
Because of the power?
Because of the power consumption, maintenance, they have to be shut down and restarted.
Yeah.
And maintained, so they can't just be continuously run, which is, why we need to find a way to come up with some way, maybe some portable device or something that people wear that just create these frequencies on a smaller field.
What is the large device that you use? What does it look like, or how does it operate? Can you describe what it consists of?
It's large. Looks kind of the way an offshore oil rig does. And there's different antennas on it. And a few satellite receivers that are pointing out in different directions. Some of them can be adjusted and some of them can't. They're pointed to, fixed locations at different systems at different points. Again, the idea is that it's like sonar. We send these pulses out just through different arrays. And they're all timed at the same time. And they're all timed to go out at the same time anyway. And you just listen for when they come back. And they all come back at different times. And so it starts, on paper, the frequencies all come back, and it goes from being straight lines across to suddenly having these spikes and pits and dimensions, and it's got texture to it.
That's your job, to interpret those?
Right. So it's like figuring out what exactly we've opened, because scientifically we can't explain what it is. Is it another dimension? I don't know. It seems like that, but how do we prove that? What is it that we're looking at? And that's just where we're kind of dumbfounded. Nobody knows.
Well, you're the first ones to have seen it. From
we just know at this point that if you do this, this happens.
Right. And so this is about a year or so after you discovered the phenomenon?
Right, after we had the theory and built the machine, and a year or so.
Is there anything else important about that particular day that you're looking at?
It's the people's fascination, people's bewilderment. And nobody understands it, but nobody's afraid either.
Are there vibrations that do cause fear?
I'm sure there are. we aimed for more higher vibrations, so it's not like we uncovered nightmare realms or anything. It was just a pleasant surprise that we found what we did.
And so it's starting to catch on, and people are becoming just amazed by the experience that they can't explain.
Right, because we can't explain it, but then you see it, and it's very much there. It's there.
Yeah. Well, let's leave that scene and let's move forward to another important day in that lifetime. A day you consider to be important when something important is happening. We've now moved forward to another important day. What is happening? What do you see?
Not there anymore.
Where are you at?
Not at that place. Somewhere else. Just a neighborhood, a house. Yeah, it seems like a suburban area.
Is it someplace where you live?
Maybe. Driving around.
You're driving right now?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I don't know. The thing is, as I'm driving, it's like, you know, the way things looked when we opened this kind of dimensional shift.
Mm-hmm. It looks like that where you're at?
Right, but there's no device.
So it's the same phenomenon, but a different causation?
Maybe it's all in my head.
The frequencies?
Maybe. Or, you know, there's no device. I mean, it doesn't seem like something they're doing globally, and I don't have some kind of personal device that's doing it, and I'm just out in the neighborhood, so either I'm doing it on my own, or things just changed and got stuck that way.
What do you think caused them to get stuck that way?
I don't know.
Do you think people themselves have an effect on the frequency?
I think people can train themselves to see it.
Is that what you've done?
I think so. I think, yeah, using the radio frequencies to open the window, that was just the key.
Mm-hmm. So once you knew it was possible...
You put the key in the door, you can just unlock it.
Mm. Do other people experience this too?
Yes, they can.
In your daily life, do they?
Yeah.
A large percentage of people, or just the people that have experienced that phenomenon?
Just a few that I know that said they can.
Are they colleagues, or?
Some are just other people that were there that saw the change. And not everybody can see it. And they're still all over the world, still doing this work. Still trying to push the boundaries. But it seems that I've just moved on from that project into something else.
But the important part about this day is that you're able to experience that higher frequency even without a device.
Right.
So,
I can seem to control it.
Can you describe how you do that?
Just by thinking about it, I guess. It seems like it's second nature, but it's just all about perception.
Seems like a very good skill to develop.
It's kind of like how dyslexic people can look at a normal word like a word that we all, just a common word, that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of us see that word and it's just that, you know. It makes sense. But like a dyslexic person looks at that word and they see something completely different
Mm-hmm.
than what the rest of us see. And it's, you know, maybe our minds are just engineered to perceive things one way, but you know, you figure you can just kind of just rattle the curtains a little bit.
And that's what you feel like that project did.
Right. I feel like it wasn't just, we weren't trying to discover in the end a planet, or, you know, we weren't even trying to discover different dimensions. What we were trying to achieve is, you know, some new form of communication and understanding, and I think in a way we achieved a lot of that.
Yeah, even without being able to define it, I would say so.
Right. And the work is still being done.
Well, let's leave that scene and let's move forward to another day. Let's move forward to the last day in the life that we're looking at. You can watch it as an observer if you'd like to. We've gone forward to the last day of your life in this lifetime we're watching. What's happening? What do you see?
I just feel grateful.
Where are you at?
Oh no.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah. Seems like I'm with people. Maybe I've been sleeping. Seems like some time has passed and
You feel like you're very old?
older, yeah. Seems like I've been around for a while, and I just feel this gratitude towards everything. That's, you know, that for some reason, above all things, I got, you know, chosen for something that seemed kind of insignificant on paper, but maybe it's changed, you know, the lives of so many people. But just gratitude.
So you're grateful for your role.
Maybe we didn't accomplish exactly what we were supposed to, even though we didn't entirely know what that was, but we did something. There's a new consciousness. There's new understanding.
Maybe it's good that you didn't have a predefined goal.
And what we found is that, you know, when you can change and you can move freely through these, you know, through these dimensions, you can better understand different ways of thinking, you know.
So it gave you a much broader perspective.
Right. Because it's different perspectives from different arenas even. And it's just as simple as changing a radio dial.
You say different arenas. Like different paradigms?
Right. Different venues, if you will.
Do you feel sick at all?
No.
What makes this your last day?
Well, maybe I made the decision to go somewhere else.
Do you feel a call to go somewhere else?
Yeah, I think there's something about one of the windows that's open that needs to be explored. And the people here can continue the work that we're doing. That will live on. So even if I'm not there, they'll still be able to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, so you're more needed somewhere else, or you'd find higher benefit going to the other dimension.
Right.
Do you have an idea where that place is, or what that life state is like?
No.
Not from where you're at now?
Not from where I'm at now, but something tells me that I'll know once I get there.
Let's go ahead and move forward. Now, whatever's happened has happened, and you're already on the other side of it. From that position, you're able to look back at that entire life and see it from another perspective. And every life has a lesson and a purpose. As you look at that life, what did you learn from it?
That what we were doing, it wasn't, it wasn't to satisfy some personal itch or, to slap the face of, prove some scientist wrong from years before. We were trying something new. We didn't even realize it at the time, but what we were actually doing is changing people's way of thinking, changing their perception, and not forcing their perception, but showing them that there's different ways of everything.
So you were able to open up that door not just for yourselves, but for others?
Right. For everyone. For everyone, for the world. And the other worlds as well, the other dimensions through the windows that we unlock that we can go to. Unlocked for everyone. And because of this, because people can see to the other side, it seems like they have more of an understanding of where they're at and where they want to be and what they want to do.
So part of your lesson had to do with that, having that pure intent. You said you didn't do it for any reason, out of spite or to prove anything in particular, or to prove anything wrong. Why did you start seeking?
Because we knew that there was something there.
So faith?
Yeah. Yeah, we just knew, like, there was something about the location that we built on. There was something about that specific place. Somebody crunched the numbers, did the math, drew the lines. Like, there was something about this one spot. And then we later found out that there were other spots, where they could install these devices, but originally there was something that called us to be here and, to be there at that spot. And I think that's just what it was from. Sometimes just all the planets light up and the lines just point to that way.
So something that's astrologically and following signs.
Right. And so like we just knew that if we played the right tone, the right vibration, just listen for what bounces back, we'd get something. And we sure did.
And every life has a purpose. Can you articulate what your purpose was in that lifetime?
To show people that if we believe in what we're doing, that we can show that there's more. If we believe in what we're doing, we can show people that there's more than just what's perceived.
So even without proof, in the conventional sense.
Right. Just a complete experiment.
Complete experiment.
We had no idea what the results would be. We just knew. Just knew that was the place.
Now, after you've left that body, what happens? Can you describe it?
There's a lot of floating to another place.
What's it look like as you float?
It's not a planet anymore. It's something else. Different forms of matter entirely.
So it's not like the same material 3D world.
No.
How would you describe it?
These are mostly just like light or mist or just spots that cross or intersect. But visibly there's still, shapes and patterns there. There's structure. There's structure. It's just different. It's different than what we're, used to in earthly bodies. Completely different forms of matter.
What colors do you see?
Beyond the ultraviolet scale.
Even beyond what you saw on that planet.
Yeah. As our planet is just, it was different. Like we were here. The sky was like that. But everything just, the movement, the fluidity of everything is even a little bit different to the point, you don't walk up the stairs to ascend to another level. You just are there.
Right.
The level comes to you.
Do you have a body where you're at?
Not one that I can perceive.
Do you feel like you have limbs or?
No, I feel that I can interact with things.
Are you going towards something?
I'm moving freely.
I guess you said that you draw the whatever you want towards you or create it as opposed to move to it.
Right.
So what are you creating now, or where are you?
Just moving, exploring, taking it all in.
Sounds like it must be very beautiful.
Yeah. Just taking it all in. The architecture of it, the fluidity of it.
Was there any shock at all when you left your physical body and came to the spirit world after?
Nah.
That was a pretty fluid experience.
Yeah.
What's happening now? Do you know where you're going to go next?
Nah.
Just enjoying everything where you're at.
Just enjoying it. Just enjoying it.
You said that one of those windows that you'd opened up in that lifetime needed to be explored more. Do you think you'll go there?
That's where I am.
Oh. So that's where you're exploring now, in the non-physical.
Right.
So it doesn't sound like you need a body to explore the dimension.
No. And things are just different there. Things are spaced out a little better, and
Less dense.
it's less dense, but there are fewer big wide open areas. But also, like, every form, every point of energy isn't just living next to each other either. There's space for them to flow and breathe and move.
Sounds more harmonious.
Yeah.
Are there complex patterns there?
Yeah. Things seem to move almost as if they were suspended in liquid, and yet there's no liquid. There's in the air, but everybody can just move in any dimension. You can be everywhere. You can be everywhere. You can be everything.
So consciousness is just fluid.
Yeah, as far as your light will extend in any direction.
Is there a limit to that?
Not that I can discern.
And you can draw that light back in.
Yeah.
Do you always have to be the same personality, or can you change that?
It seems that you can change it, and everybody's light shines differently, but they're all shining. And they're all constantly moving, and then, there's just this structure. It's everything. Almost like crystalline structures, but they're everywhere in every dimension around, and they're as far as the eye can see. We just freely move through them and around them and within each other.
Are the structures conscious as well?
No, they seem to be more like collected energy, maybe a storage space, or
like more of an equivalent to a material?
Maybe.
What purpose do they serve? You said storage.
Well, like maybe storage, maybe shelter. Yeah, maybe things are housed or kept. Or, certain energies are stored for other uses, or
What type of energies?
our energies.
So like our experiences?
Yes.
So then others can tap into that and draw from the collective experience.
Right. So we all share.
Sounds very interesting. But the structures, they don't move the same way as the consciousness moves and interacts.
Right. No, the structures don't. They primarily stay where they are. Some can, as these energies flow into them, they do have some changes that, just appear as like changes of light, or, maybe something will change shape, but then, when these energies flow out of it and into the next little areas, they just freely float around, that that structure may change back or change to something else. But it seems to be a world that's constantly morphing and changing, because it's feeding off the cues of the energy of the beings that are there.
The beings that exist in that dimension.
Correct.
Does it interact with this dimension?
It can, because I got there from this dimension.
Mm-hmm. Could you go back if you wanted to?
Maybe.
I'm just curious if you can move back and forth, or if you stay in this dimension for what seems to be a long time.
I'm not sure. It seems that everyone that's in this dimension maybe belongs. Maybe this is
To kind of pool together in that dimension where you belong.
Right.
Vibrationally.
Right. Maybe it's home, or maybe it's, it could just be some kind of like airport terminal to something else. But whatever it is, it's very beautiful.
Does it feel like you've been here before?
No.
No, this is the first time?
Yes.
And you said it feels like it might be an airport terminal.
Well, it could be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels kind of like, it feels like everybody that's here is supposed to be here to share this. We're supposed to be sharing these energies, and then these experiences, and they get stored. These energies get stored in these structures and maybe used for something later. And right now, we're just here to share the energies.
Can you hear anything or smell anything? What does it sound like?
The sounds, there's a lot of different sounds. The structures themselves have a crystalline sound. All the energies, as they flow, they're kind of like clouds of smoke, puffs of smoke, and kind of tendril and move, but they stay together. They don't dissipate like smoke does. And they hum. There's a hum, like every one of these beings of energy is humming at a different at a different vibration, at a different tone. They're all a different hum, and they all have a different color. And they're all just in this place, weaving and mixing together. And it's swirling around.
Are there smells where you are?
Yeah.
Can you describe them?
It's hard to. It's like trying to explain the color blue to a blind person.
Right.
But yeah, it's not. It's nothing at all like anything we have on Earth. But then at the same time, it's everything that we have on Earth, because it's all of the experience from all of these beings that came from this place. So
I see.
It's like nothing and everything at the same time.
It's a full spectrum.
Yeah.
Sounds like a manifold experience. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that place?
Just seems like everything that's there just belongs. There doesn't appear to be any conflict. How would there be? We just flow. We just flow. There's nothing stopping anything. There's nothing holding anything back. And ideas aren't presented as arguments. They're presented as just as philosophy, as what ifs.
Those are not the kind of contrast that we have here in the 3D world.
Correct.
Yet everything seems to be evolving and in harmony. So in that place, there's no conflict needed to spur evolution.
No.
Interesting. Now, let's drift away from that life. We're drifting and floating away from that life. We'll leave that man there to continue on his